I don't want to be house poor. If you've ever said that, if you've ever worried about that, this video is for you. One of the most common fears that I hear from first-time homebuyers and not, it really doesn't matter, is that you don't want to be house poor. You don't want to take on too much of a mortgage and regret the decision of buying a home and feeling stuck in that home. Let me preface this entire video by saying there's a big difference between what I as a mortgage lender can tell you what you're approved for versus what you can actually afford and what you're going to be comfortable with. So how do you tell the difference? The short, simple, and hard answer is that you need to have a budget. The first thing that I would recommend is to go back 12 months and as much as you can, to the best of your ability, try to track every expense that you had over that last 12 months. For a lot of people, this is eye-opening because if you haven't done a budget and you're not tracking these things, you might generally think that you spend X amount on, say, groceries or entertainment, and then you do the analysis and then the numbers tell you something completely different. So this is a great exercise to determine truly where is your money going, and armed with that information, now we can put that into a realistic budget and we can cut where we might want to. The mistake that I see people make is that when they're making their budget, it is way too general. For the most part, we do a good job of tracking what our minimum loan payments are, but there are so many other expenses that get lost, and if you're not planning for them, they can tank a budget so quickly. I'll give you some examples. If you are going on a vacation, say every summer, you need to have a line item that allows you to save for that summer vacation. For food, it shouldn't be just food. It should be, this is my grocery bill, this is how much I'm eating out, maybe this is how much I am spending on coffee. The biggest way you can sync a budget is by not preparing for what I would broadly define as repairs and maintenance. So if you have a home, you need to be saving at least 1 to 2% of that home's value per year for any potential repairs. So you might not need it, but eventually you're definitely going to need it because stuff breaks on homes. Same thing for cars. It eventually will end up at the mechanics. And there needs to be a line item that factors in overall, over the course of a typical year, how much that maintenance is going to be. We also treat savings like it's something that's optional, something that we'll think about after the bills are paid. I know budgets are tight, I know expenses are high, but if we are truly going to make a budget that is going to be successful, there needs to be a line item that says I'm going to save X amount per year. And it needs to be detailed enough to even define what that savings is, not just one big savings account, but you might have a savings goal for a 6-month emergency fund. You might have one that is I'm going to save $10,000 that will go into an investment account. The more detailed you are, the more granular you can get, the higher chances of you being successful. So with a budget, that's great, but you also need to have a way of monitoring that every month or maybe every 2 months to determine whether you are on track or not. So back to the original title of this video, which is making sure that you're not house poor. Once you have your own budget, you can